Sorry for being egregiously late. I was finishing up this PowerPoint. That is extensive. So we're not going to waste much time today. Okay? There's a couple of things to talk about just in terms of rumors and some speculation going around. But outside of that, we're getting right into the PowerPoint. It is a PowerPoint stream. Okay? Usually these are on Fridays, but Friday is our free agency stream. So today we're doing the PowerPoint stream. I'm predicting the landing spots. I almost said final destination, but that sounds weird. The landing spots for big free agents. This is an early start for you? Fuck off. I've been pretty good lately. Free agents, trade targets. Where do they end up? How many slides are we at? We are at 170 slides. 170 slides. I believe something like 75 players. So we do need to, we just need to get into it. I have the best jumper in this chat. That includes a late boy over here. Nah, put me at the elbow of the nail and it's a fucking automatic basket. $171 slides. We're not messing around, man. This stuff makes me... This is my favorite thing to do. I love predictions. I love shit like this. It is one of the hottest days on record, I believe. Supposed to be, at least in Dallas today. I guess when you factor in the heat index. So, I don't really plan on going outside. I do have a dinner later. You're good at predictions? Not really. I think I'm really bad at trade and free agent predictions. But those are really hard though. Live now. The big free agency prediction stream. Kyrie Irving is back with the Mavericks. A huge trade. That I have a big trade. A big trade. In this PowerPoint slide that nobody has talked about, but I kind of think it's ready. Oh, it's for everyone's team? Oh yeah. It's for every team. A huge trade that no one is talking about. A huge trade that everyone is talking about. This is not just Mavericks centered, by the way. Get in here now. Tweet. All right, let's go. Okay, Kyrie Irving expect to resign the Mavericks. I've been telling you guys this. Wait, hold on a second. What up, everybody? How many of you guys were in the Bleacher Report stream yesterday? Secret prediction, will somebody be traded this stream? No. The Bleacher Report stream was hilarious. It's not the direction I personally would have gone with the stream, but you know, it's their app. It was their idea. But it was pretty hilarious. What Tobias Harris report? Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time. I am up to date with all of the recent rumblings. The Tobias Harris saying that shit, that was hilarious, I thought, honestly. Casual Sixer fans, they'll trade me for a crumble cookie. I thought that was funny. Tobias Harris is in my predictions. So thoughts on the Mavericks almost getting Ayton. I posted a whole video about it yesterday. You can go and watch. If you guys haven't liked the stream yet, make sure you do so. Helps me out tremendously. Lets you two know we're having a great time, of which we are, especially early on in the stream's life cycle. 177 of you in here, 32 likes. That ain't cutting it. Tobias can play the 5 for us, guys. Don't forget he's 6'9". That's true. Today I'm feeling 6'9", so could definitely play some small ball. 5, easily. Casual Sixers fans, they'll trade me for a crumble cookie. Crumble cookie, I sometimes they're a little much. That's kind of the thing about those big, cookies or those big donuts or those big fucking, whatevers. Cupcakes. Like, sometimes they're just a little too much. I'm listening to your stream while playing 5s in a 24-hour fitness. I'm him. All right. If you have the ball in your hands right now, shoot it. I don't care where you are in the court. Shoot it. Like sometimes it's a little too much, a little too rich for my liking. But when they get it right, they got a cornbread cookie there. Unbelievable. You just made throw up a pool shot. All right. Let's not waste any time. Like, seriously. We shan't. We shan't waste any time. I don't want to spoil it. Hold on. Twitter notification. What are the odds? Bulls finding limited trade market for Zach LaVine. Okay, well, there you go. He's on here. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for yet another beautiful free agency prediction video. I don't know if I did one last year, but another beautiful PowerPoint here on the Slightly Biased show. Slightly Biased free agency predictions, also including Slightly Biased trade predictions. 15-hour stream. No, can't be. By yours truly, Slightly Biased. Thank you, guys. Another Twitter notification. Cleveland has begun taking calls on Darius Garland. Cavaliers are looking for an established wing player. What the fuck? Is this real? That would have to be the stupidest shit I've ever heard if that actually happens. Darius Garland for OG is disgusting, man. Where are you getting these noties? That one was from NBA Trade Report. I just like them because they basically do what NBA Central does, but I think it's a little bit better. All right. Would you offer Kyrie 5 years, 270? Well, doesn't sound like they have to. That's a fucking lot of money. Speak of Kyrie, the first player we're going to talk about is Kyrie Irving. Now, for every player, we're going to go over a list of potential suitors. That way we have a better understanding of what his market is. Okay. Is there another team? All right. Here's the potential suitors for Kyrie Irving. The Miami Heat are the ones that scare me the biggest. They scare me bigly. I worry about them. The Houston Rockets, they have money. I think that's the only reason they're actually tied to him. Is they have money. I don't think there's any real reasoning outside of that. Sixers, if they lose out on Harden, is something to keep an eye on. I think the Lakers are moving on. My prediction is the same that it's been. Yeah. All right. Okay. Forgot I had sound effects. He stays with the Mavericks. All right. He stays with the Mavericks. Some rumblings that it's 4 for what was it? What did Skin tweet out? 4 for 160? If that's the case, that's a very good deal for the Mavericks. And it gives them access to the full mid-level exception. I'm interested to see if Kyrie's willing to work with the Mavericks. So this one is an easy one to start off with. Kyrie Irving stays in Dallas. It's a good pairing next to Luka. They traded a first-round pick for him. They'll be motivated to keep him back. And it does not sound as if there's a very big market for Kyrie Irving, which is great. Great news for the Mavericks. I trust you to make the Spurs a playoff team with these predictions. Oh, I got some Spurs predictions. Next up, we have Grant Williams, one of the premier mid-level exception targets throughout the entire NBA. Suitors include the Boston Celtics, Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay. I don't have it to where I have to click on all of these fucking teams. Okay, whoops. Here's his suitors. Basically, any team with access to the mid-level exception is going to be after Grant Williams. And pretty much teams with money, like if you're the Rockets or the Spurs, yeah, fuck it. Why not just throw some money at Grant Williams? He's a big player. He's been on winning teams. You know, why not? Worst case scenario, we flip him down the line, whatever. My prediction is Grant Williams stays with the Boston Celtics. What? What does this mean? What does this mean for the Dallas Mavericks? I think the Celtics match. Just don't think they let him walk. Ultimately. Just don't think they let him walk. He's restricted. They can match. Unless San Antonio or Houston just blow the fucking doors off with a crazy offer, which I don't think is going to happen either. Just think that they're going to keep him. They're going to keep him around. What's Utah's cap situation now after the John Collins stuff? I know they still have money, but like I'm assuming they're going to bring back Jordan Clarkson, right? So I see him staying in Boston. Yeah. If Grant Williams re-signs back with Boston, he might not get any minutes since he's blocked by KP. Well, he's restricted, so. Next up, Jared Allen. His name hasn't been in trade rumors anywhere except on this channel. There has been no reports or rumblings about a potential Jared Allen trade. But God damn it, we're trying to will it into existence. If he were available, some potential suitors include the Pelicans, who could be on the market. Forgot who, but a reporter said Miami's interested in Wood. Yeah, I saw that earlier. Dallas, obviously. I think the Spurs are going to be in the market for a center. Kind of sounds crazy, but I think he's in the market. I think they're in the market for a center. That way, Wemby doesn't have to play the 5. What up, KS? And the Thunder. Keep in mind, man, the Thunder are going to have to do something soon. They got too many assets. Like, literally, they're going to have too many picks. Too many young players. And could they go in, sort of similar to Wemby, get a big guy who can play center, Chet can play the 4 starting off? You know, is that something that they're interested in? Ultimately, though, I think he stays with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Again, we're just trying to will one out of thin air. Like, there's no reports. There's nothing. So Jared Allen, you know, and his value is lower. And he's on a nice, friendly contract, younger, a year removed from the All-Star game. I think it'd be dumb for them to trade him now. Next up on this list, DeAndre Hunter. There's going to be some lackluster names. I mean, I got like fucking 80 players here. Okay, so we'll go through some of the lackluster guys. DeAndre Hunter, reportedly on the market. What does a trade for DeAndre Hunter even look like? Because he is younger. His $20 million a year contract hasn't even kicked in yet. It starts this year. And he's rarely healthy and has been pretty lackluster and disappointing his whole career. THJ and picks, like, I don't even know if picks would be involved. So I have teams like the Spurs, the Jazz, the Rockets, teams with cap space that are willing to NBA trade report drop the bomb. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just saw it. The Darius Garland thing. Teams with cap space like that are willing to help out, right? maybe get something in return. Or you might get some teams that are very, very desperate for a forward that, you know, July 24th are like, Jesus Christ, we're fucked. That's teams like Sacramento, teams like Dallas even. Ultimately, I think DeAndre Hunter lands with Indiana. The first player changing teams. Indiana. I don't know what happened to Cam Reddish. I think he kind of fits a need for them. He's younger. You know, they could take a risk. Their money's not that bad. They could easily take a risk, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I think the Pacers are going to be sneaky active. Like, they're going to try to win next year, I think. You won't have to start Jarris Walker right away. Any interest in Jalen Smith? Not really, no. What a great draft pick by the Suns. Again, they just kill the draft. They really do, don't they? Jake Fisher was the one who said... I saw somebody say this about Jake Fisher. Jake Fisher was the one who said that about Christian Wood. Somebody said this about Jake Fisher, and it's so true. That Jake Fisher is just... The reason why I like Jake Fisher is he will just hear something. He won't even double check to see if it's right. He doesn't care if he's being used as a mouthpiece. If he just hears a rumor, he's letting it fly. My dream Spurs starting lineup is Dame, Vassell, Sohan, Wemby, Lopez. How the fuck you getting Dame if you still have Vassell, Sohan? Next up on this list, Kyle Kuzma. Maybe the third or fourth best unrestricted free agent on the market, behind Harden, behind Kyrie, behind Fred, right? He's probably fourth. Lots of teams, damn near half the NBA, right? You know, Utah. After the John Collins trade, I don't know. He went to college in Utah, obviously, but after the John Collins trade, I'm not so sure. Cleveland desperately needs a wing. They desperately need a forward. The Hornets... okay, I don't know why I put them here. Spurs. Yeah, I could see the Spurs doing this. Mavs. Some of these teams with money, like the Pistons and the Rockets, the Spurs, right, kind of makes sense. The Grizzlies need an offensive-orientated wing. The Kings need a forward. The Pacers need a forward. The Heat do. Maybe Washington just says, hey, we'll bring you back, and you could put up 35 shots a game, and we can trade you down the line. It's the Sacramento Kings. Yeah. They've opened up $30 million in cap space. I don't think that they would be so quick to trade a first-round pick to get off of Rashawn Holmes if they didn't have somebody specific in mind. There's a couple other guys we'll get to later. Jeremy Grant. Draymond. But there's been, like, Kuzma's already been tied to the Kings. It just makes sense. The Kings would only bring in Kuzma if Barnes leaves. I think Barnes is leaving. We'll get to him here in a bit. Sorry, it's also important to keep shooters on the team. That's why I would keep Bullock and I would pursue Seth Curry. Yeah, Mavs need shooting. Shooting's very important. So the Kings get a nice forward, a nice offensive weapon. And definitely an upgrade from Harrison Barnes. I love Harrison Barnes, but I mean, let's be real. Definitely an upgrade. Seth Curry gets locked up in the playoffs. Yeah, Seth Curry's not really a playoff guy. Spurs get Dame by trading Wesley, Bassie, and Keldon Johnson plus 4 firsts and 2 seconds. You'd probably have to trade Vassell at least. So a nice get for Sacramento. Next on the board, D'Angelo Russell. Utah Jazz, they need a point guard. Nets could use a point guard. Bulls could use a point guard. Spurs have money. Rockets have money. Raptors could use a point guard if Fred walks. Pelicans could use a point guard. Clippers, Lakers, Magic. Oh, look at that. The Puerto Rican Basketball League down there. Definitely an option. Don't really know what his market is, to be 100% honest with you. Like, is he a plus mid-level exception? No chance, right? What team's offering over $14 million a year for him at this point? Now, if he's a mid-level guy, that becomes a little bit more interesting. right? Because a team like Chicago could swoop in. They need a point guard. But ultimately, it's the Lakers. He's staying in LA. You know, they don't have too much flexibility, really, so just bring him back, hopefully for kind of a cheap contract. And maybe you get the most out of him, but, you know, I wouldn't be jumping up and down if D'Angelo Russell is on my team. You guys know that. But don't sleep on the Bulls there. I think they're probably the most likely one if he goes somewhere else, but I just don't think he does. Next up, we have Harrison Barnes, a player that should be pretty coveted across the NBA. Any team looking for a wing or a forward. Harrison Barnes, mid-level exception. An interesting report earlier today that I don't remember who it was from. Was it Stein that the Mavericks are just not that interested in Harrison Barnes because they don't really want to spend the full mid-level on him? Really kind of feel as if I thought about putting the Warriors, Alfred, but I just feel like that it's just not going to happen again. So any team that needs a wing, any team that has access to the full mid-level or has money is probably going to be interested in Harrison Barnes. Boston doesn't have money. I don't know why they're here. I want you guys to play along. Like, tell me where you think some of these guys go. They would trade him in the middle of the game again. Listen, the Harrison Barnes stuff, I do have to say that was embarrassing and really sad. But the team told him before the game started, hey, you might get traded. Are you sure you want to play? And he said yes. So, Bucks, Philly, Mavericks. I have him going to Indiana. Fits a need for them. They've been linked to him. And I didn't realize, this came out a few days ago, I didn't realize Rick Carlisle apparently loves him. So, I think it makes a lot of sense that he ends up there. But I will say I saw another report yesterday that the King, like him and the Kings were not really talking, but then they came back yesterday. So, played piano at his wedding. Yeah, I heard that. I don't remember what podcast I was on, but I heard that. And I was like, wait, what? Was that on the Hoop Collective? Barnes and Hunter to the Pacers? Yeah, so at a certain point, right, I'm just kind of throwing stuff that makes sense at a wall and hoping some stick. So there's going to be some overlap on some of these, right? It just makes sense for both of those guys. I don't think either, like both of them would happen, but Barnes definitely goes to the Pacers, and I can see Kuzma go to the Kings. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like making crazy predictions. Like those are all pretty widely talked about. All right, let's lower it down a peg. KJ Martin, high flying dunker. I don't understand this stuff at all. Like I get the Rockets have a log jam, so you kind of want to clear that up. But Jake Fisher said they're looking to dump space. They're looking to dump cap space by trading KJ Martin, and that's just not really, doesn't make fucking sense to me because he's making $1 million. And I don't know what his market is. Like, are we talking a first? Like, surely not, right? Surely we're not talking a first. Phoenix needs him. Yeah, Phoenix could desperately use a guy like that. Mavs have been tied to him. Cavs, he makes sense there. Doesn't play a lot of defense, would be my concern for him. And he doesn't really shoot very well. Two seconds. Yeah, I could see that being what it is. He makes sense for some of these younger teams. My prediction is the Hawks. Who said it? Somebody said Collins replacement. Yeah, John Collins replacement. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Way cheaper and somewhat similar-esque skill sets. Goes to the Hawks. you know, they kind of have a forward logjam themselves, even after trading John Collins. Please somebody says Kenyon Martin Jr. Josh Hart. Look at that. The whole fucking league. The entire league should be interested in Josh Hart. Assuming he... Yeah, I kept noticing the basketball club thing. And I kind of like it. I kind of like it. Winning player. Played the best basketball of his life with the Knicks. What's the deal with the option? I'm not so sure. Not going to spend too much time here. He's staying in New York. Like, it's not... He's staying in New York. I don't see a scenario in which he does not stay in with the Knicks. Dirtiest player in the league. Josh Hart. I mean, he did fuck up Jimmy Butler's ankle, although I do think that it was on accident. Yeah, he and JB are lovers. We'll get to another Villanova guy here in a bit. What's he doing here? Karl Anthony Towns? What's Karl Anthony Towns doing here? Well, okay. If he's available, I mean, I could see all of these teams checking in, right? Warriors could be interesting. Maybe something like centered around Clay. Raptors. Bulls. Vucevic upgrade. Charlotte Hornets. You know, they go all in for it. Pelicans need a center. Rockets, they just say, fuck it. We'll take them. Spurs say, fuck it. We'll take them. Just don't, you know, I don't know if a trade's going to happen, right? It's hard to predict a trade. I have the Mavericks here. I would throw up and vomit and piss my pants. Is there a team that's dumb enough to do it? To go all in? He's always been tied to the Knicks. Logan with the $5 donation. Here are notable free agent Mavs should look at. Dillon Brooks, Bruce Brown, Jordan Clarkson, Jay Crowder, Seth Curry, and some others. Tough. Thank you, Logan. There's a lot out there. A lot out there for the MLEs. I'd be cool with all of those guys except Jordan Clarkson. I don't really know if he fits a need for how much money he's going to be. Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, I think a trade would be crazy for him. It's just hard to imagine it happening this offseason without too much rumblings going on. But wait a second. What? I think we get a shocking Karl Anthony Towns trade. I think we get a shocking Cat trade. I don't understand. You pay Naz Reid. You know, Naz Reid's good. You pay him, what, $15 million a year or whatever? For who? I don't know. They make it work contractually. But they keep Kawhi and Paul George. What's Cat's value across the league? I don't think you guys understand this fucking contract. Like, we're already seeing teams scrambling to get off of money. I don't think you guys understand this money that he's about to get. $36 million upcoming. Oh, okay. 49, 53, 57, $61 million player option is last year. Jesus. They only need to make up $36 million. They could do that shit with some of their expirings. So there's a world in which the Timberwolves could just get expirings back here and maybe like whatever picks the Clippers have. I just don't get the Naz Reid stuff. I do get it. But I feel like they do that thinking, okay, we'll probably move off of Cat or Gobert here in a bit. What do you guys think? They must have invested in FTX. Yeah, he's probably picking up that $60 million player option, if I had to guess. The Clippers side of it, Steve Ballmer just says, fuck it, man. We're in so deep here. We're in so deep here. Like, we might as well just go for it. Cap, no way Cat goes to the Clips without getting PG. I'm telling you, I think Cat's market would probably be trash. Mavs signed Ayton and Cat Twin Towers. Oh my God. If the Twin Towers was made of the same material as Cat and DeAndre Ayton, the planes would have just bounced off. So soft. We should really keep Rashawn Holmes unless we can get a good package. Gobert's market should have been trash. That was before, though. That trade still is so shocking. But damn, he was actually kind of good in the playoffs. I was looking back on it. Like, he was actually decently solid in the postseason, man. His stock went up. Whereas his stock went up, whereas Cat's went way down. Ben, €2. The slightly dance meme is iconic. It is. Thank you so much. Sally, what do you think the odds are that Holmes is on the roster start this season? I would say low. I don't think he's on the Mavericks. All right. Next up, Keldon Johnson. A player whose name was only really ever brought up in hypotheticals, right? 2 pounds. Okay, 2 pounds. A player whose name was only ever really brought up in hypotheticals. If you were actually on the market, you could see a bunch of teams interested. Edie with the €5. Edie or Eddie? I always say fucking both ways every time. But thank you so much. Anyways, if Keldon Johnson were on the market, a bunch of teams should be interested. He's young. He's under contract. I think he stays with the Spurs. Don't really need to waste too much time on some of these. I really think a lot of the trade talks were just all hypotheticals. Cat was some foul issues away from sending the Lakers home in round 1 versus Denver. Tobias Harris just had a very interesting quote. He is declaring war. He's declaring war on his own fan base, of which I love. You guys know my Tobias Harris stance. I'm a believer of his. Okay. Is he overpaid? Yes, of course he is. Duh. Is he a good player, though? Yes. For sure. Any team that needs a forward should be interested. Teams with cap space. Hey, Sixers, you want to get that $40 million off? All right. It'll cost you a pick, but you can do it. Reports of his, the asking price of him, I think, are very overstated. And I do feel, though, that the league probably feels a little bit higher about Tobias Harris than fans do. But I do think he stays with Philly. Don't think a trade makes sense. And on top of that, having a guy with a $40 million contract who's expiring at the trade deadline could be very big. Like, that could be a huge, huge, huge asset. So... Oh yeah, this is a Google Slides. We're really up in that shit. I just think that they finish. I think that they just keep him. No real need in trading him. Next up, Gabe Vincent. So, a very interesting player. Probably going to get overpaid. you don't see the Dallas Mavericks here, but they have been linked to him today, which is interesting to me. I don't feel like they need another guard, but okay. Or at least they don't need to be paying a lot of money to another guard, but okay. Lots of teams should be interested in Gabe Vincent. I think he's a fringe starting caliber guard. Squiggly! 7 months of the Slightly Delusional Club. I'm just here for the music. Just kidding. It's must-see content. All of it's great. Would sign and trade? Locked On Suns, a guy mentioned today that maybe the Suns would consider Ayton for Tim Hardaway Jr., Bullock, and maybe try to pry one of Maxey, Josh Green, or Jaden Hardy. Well, they're not getting them. Fuck off. No, we have not gone to Jeremy Grant. But Gabe Vincent's a very solid guard. You know, I think if he's your starting point guard, you're looking to upgrade. What up, TGK? You're looking to upgrade, but, you know, it's not like the most pressing need in the world. Now, my answer here is going to be a spoiler for what happens later. I'll just say that. The Toronto Raptors. Makes a ton of sense to me. Just seems like a Toronto Raptors type of player. Like, I look at him and I think Toronto Raptors. You know? But if Fred VanVleet were to leave, Toronto all of a sudden has a huge hole at the point guard spot. Why not go after somebody like Gabe Vincent, who's probably outside of VanVleet, probably, and obviously the big home run hitters, the best guard on the market, best free agent guard on the market? Raptors player without a 7-foot wingspan? Yeah, but they need an actual fucking guard. You know? Jordan Walker greater than JJ Barea. Okay, that's an interesting comparison, but all right. I need to learn up on these Mavs undrafted guys. Is Jordan Walker the 5'11" one? He is, isn't he? Does Toronto really think they are contender with their roster? I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it either, but they clearly do. He even fits the mold they like. Yeah, he does. Mike Miles Jr. is legit. Is that the 5'11" guy? I know one of them is actually legit good. Next up, Nikola Vucevic. All right. Mark Cuban, don't fucking even think about it. All right? Don't even think about it. Don't even think twice about it. Pelicans need a center. I think the Heat are sneaky, like make a move for a center team. Bam plays the 4 type of thing, and Vucevic can space the floor. We've surpassed our white boy quota. Yeah. I think Warriors could sneakily use a center. I don't even know how this deal would work. Like, I think that they can. I think the Warriors can only offer vets. Vet mins, I'm pretty sure. Ultimately, I think Vucevic stays with the Bulls. Now, listen, Chicago, let me give you a piece of advice, okay? Now, I don't know if you guys tuned into my Bleacher Report stream yesterday, but I did, as GM of the Dallas Mavericks, win a championship in dominant fashion. So I have some expertise here in this field. Chicago, realistically, who are you negotiating against? Who are you negotiating against, Chicago? That's what you need to ask yourself, okay? Because teams with money aren't lining up to pay Nikola Vucevic. And if it's, oh, well, Vucevic is only a mid-level exception guy. Do not be offering this man $25 million a fucking year, okay? Like 20 mil or so is about where I'd be. I wouldn't even want to do that. But 20 million or so a year is like, okay. And before a random ass Orlando reunion. Bulls need to figure out this team still. Lonzo won't see the court again. Yeah, I mean, I very much disagree with them wanting to run it back, but who am I? besides somebody who stepped in as the GM of the Dallas Mavericks and easily won a championship. Easily. But if he's a mid-level guy, then it gets a little bit more interesting, right? So I don't know. Next up, we do have Pascal Siakam. What's going on? Like, what's going on in Toronto? They got to do something. They got to do something, okay? Scotty Barnes has it. You can kind of see it. I think Scotty Barnes does have it, but he needs room to spread his wings and fly with the Eagles. And OG, Siakam, Gary Trent, Fred VanVleet, they all stand in his way. And then you have Siakam, Scotty, and OG is a strange, clunky-ass fit. So somebody's got to go. Siakam is about to be an expiring contract. Same with OG. But then you also have Siakam, like, told teams he wouldn't sign an extension with them. It's very interesting. I feel like they could get a pretty sizable haul for Siakam. Heat could make sense. Rockets, again, like, they're just going to be like, yeah, we'll just fucking take anyone. Portland to appease Dame. Atlanta, they've been tied to him a lot recently, actually. And I could see like a Siakam for DeJounte. The framework there actually makes some sense. Siakam for DeJounte. DeJounte can be the starting point guard in Atlanta. I'm sorry, in Toronto. Atlanta would have to throw in more. Cleveland, but I don't know what the hell they would trade. I guess Darius fucking Garland. I guess that's a thing. Which if I am Toronto and that's a possibility. Did you see rumors of the Clippers Blazers talking about Scoot for PG? Why the hell would Portland do that? So I have a conspiracy theory about Portland I'll get to later, okay? Remind me though, when the time's right. You guys will know when the time's right. I have a conspiracy theory about them. Mavericks obviously make some sense. Charlotte, they've been linked to him. I saw that report earlier today. Indiana, that would be a low-key a great fit. New Orleans, right? They say, fuck it. Zion, your ass is never playing. Kings. Yeah, Siakam could play anywhere. He really could. It's just kind of funny because he's on like the one team I feel like where it's really clunky. Ultimately, I think he stays. I can't really picture one happening. And also the reports that he wouldn't commit to signing anywhere. If he got traded, scares me a little bit. I know it's a little bit boring, but what do you want me to say? I would love him on the Mavericks. I don't know a trade package that really makes sense. Miles Turner. I figure I had to include Miles Turner on here because every fucking time we talk about any trade or free agents. What about Miles Turner? What about Miles Turner? What about Miles Turner? Let's talk about Miles Turner, okay? If he were available, yes, he'd be a very sought-after commodity. Okay? A very sought-after commodity, especially after his very friendly contract extension. Let's not waste any time. He's staying in Indiana, okay? Like, I don't even want to spend too much time here. I don't think he was ever... I mean, he was probably on the market a few times, but now it's like, you know what? You're here now. We're going to try to win. If you say his name 3 times, Lakers fans will appear. Yeah. Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. Hey! Would you guys do Russ and the 17th overall pick for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner? Bronchitis and Lake Show, yo. Who's your pick for Rookie of the Year other than Wemby? Chet. Chet might win it either way. Like, he's had a whole year at an NBA strength program, even though he was hurt. Why the fuck are the logos distorted like that? Hey, man. The budget had to be cut somewhere, right? We're already spending so much money on talent, myself. Wardrobe. Like, the budget had to be cut somewhere. Next up, Dante DiVincenzo. Going to be one of the most sought after. Hot take, I think both Mavs rookies make an all-rookie team. It's possible. You see damn near half the NBA's on this list. Over half the NBA's on here. Just a winning player. Knicks, Nets. Knicks easy. Does not seem like he's returning to Golden State. That does not seem like it's a possibility. What about Turner? You already do Turner? Please tell me you're fucking with me. Mo Bamba and Malik Beasley for Hilda Turner. That's the type of shit they were on. An easy full mid-level guy. He's getting the full 14 million, I'd have to imagine, or whatever it is. Right? I'd have to imagine. But also, if I'm a young team, like the Spurs, like the Rockets, like the Magic, I got cap space, I might fucking throw a little bit of a bigger bag at him. I think Dante's getting the full mid-level. I do. What do you think Miles Turner ends up? You're trolling. I'm only asking if you're trolling because we literally just did Miles Turner. After I said I'm only including Miles Turner because I know everyone's going to ask about Miles Turner. Either way, yeah, I think Dante's going to the Knicks. Just makes sense. Villanova, the Villanova connection. He's already been linked there. They do have access to their full mid-level. So, just makes a lot of sense. Fuck off. Fuck off. I'm pretty sure the Knicks have the full mid-level. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But it makes sense. It's a good fit. And again, there's the Villanova connection. DeAndre Ayton. His name's been talked about a bunch. There's a lot of smoke. Portland. Could this be a let's please Dame scenario here? I don't know what goes back to Phoenix in this. You know, Anthony Simons. Is that something Phoenix would be interested in? I can't see why not. You know, they desperately need they desperately need somebody. Indiana, they've been linked to him a million times. The Clippers. The Mavericks. Where there's smoke, there's a blunt. I do think some of the Hayton, Jesus, that has a ring. That has a nice ring to it, though. The Ayton hate is maybe a little excessive. And this is coming from me, who champions it, and I don't really apologize for it. He's a fine player, but he's making $30 million. That's literally my whole thing. Like, you guys can't. You guys are sleeping on the $30 million part. Like, that's a lot of fucking money. Just think it happens. There's a lot of smoke. The negotiations make sense, and somebody's going to cave. I'm not saying I want this to happen. These are just my predictions. Okay? These are just my predictions. If it's Tim, McGee, and Rashawn Holmes, and the Mavericks can get the full mid-level, I'm in. Like, I'm not like jumping up and down. I think that there's a lot that can go wrong, but I'm interested at least. If you lose the mid-level, I don't like it. If you lose Josh Green or Jaden Hardy, I fucking hate it. I don't even want to lose Maxey in this deal. I don't want to lose Reggie and Tim combined in this deal. Okay? Nico better be laying down the fucking law. saying, I don't give a shit, man. You guys go find somewhere else to dump Ayton. But if you want to get off of him, here's what we can offer you. That's it. All right? Take it or fucking leave it. If the Mavs can get Grant Williams and be able to play small with Grant and Maxey in the playoffs, what are your thoughts? They're still going to need another legit big, but I could see that working. I'm just not. Ayton will be way better in Dallas. Trust. It's a possibility, but it's also a possibility. Is that just shadows, or am I pitting horribly bad? I think the shadows. It worked out so well last time we got a sitter from the Suns. Did we get Tyson Chandler from the Suns? Who was the last sitter we got from the Suns? Willie Cauley-Stein? Marcin Gortat? No, I'm saying Tyson Chandler the second time. Oh wait, no, he went to Phoenix after the second Mavs reunion. Oh, JaVale. There is a Mavs and Phoenix center pipeline. Chandler, Willie Cauley-Stein played for Phoenix, right? What the fuck? Why do I have memories of Willie Cauley-Stein playing for the Suns? Amari Stoudemire. You guys remember that? Listen, I can't lie. I was very in on the JaVale McGee signing. It made so much sense to me. Like, I was in on it. It made a ton of sense. For $6 million, I wasn't even expecting anything crazy. Because people were like, oh, he got played off the floor in the playoffs by Luka. Okay, well, yeah. So does everybody else in the fucking league. But, just thought for a regular season guy, it would have been nice, but. Anyways, I think this happens. Like, there's just a lot of smoke. The framework of the deal makes sense. Wemby is 7'3.5" barefoot confirmed. That's insane. I did just see that on Twitter. Kid coaching is the worst. McGee and Wood were nice additions. We'll get to Christian Wood later. This dude's a Tesla battery because he randomly explodes and burdens his team for 20 hours. Lively looked like Willie Cauley-Stein if he never would have discovered Lil Xan. Shout out to Lil Xan, man. What's he up to? Matisse Thybulle. I tried to like mix it up. I tried to go high profile, low I didn't want to do like all the high profile guys at once and then all the low profile guys at the end. It's a nice healthy balance. That way you guys have to stay tuned in the whole time. I think pretty much every single team in the league should be interested in the services of Matisse Thybulle. Is he a full mid-level guy? Now that's the question I'm wondering. He is restricted. I don't know how I'd feel if I'm sending $14 million Matisse Thybulle's way. Don't think I feel very good about that. Cavs don't need him. They need shooting bad. Cavs need guys on the wings. But yeah, I do agree. Like, Cavs is eh. Oh, Zamir, was there work done for this stream? Props, Mr. Tobias. Oh, the PowerPoint streams are not fucking around. Okay? They're not fucking around. So all of these teams obviously would be interested. Winning teams, you see, but even younger teams, right? Matisse Thybulle's still young, so. Ultimately, I think he stays in Portland. Regardless of what goes on elsewhere, it just makes sense for them to keep him. You know, he's young. Maybe they flip him down the line, and he's restricted. You talk about Denny more? I talk about Denny a lot, honestly. Honestly, I feel like in comparison to like other NBA content creators, I feel like I talk about Denny Avdia a pretty healthy amount. Bojan, have to include him here. Old as dirt. can shoot the lights out of the ball. Just came off of his best season of his career as a 33-year-old. I think that's how old he is. A not very bad contract for his production, but he is old. Just turned 34. 21 points per game this past season. 41% from three. His contract, $20 million this upcoming year, 19 the year after. So not bad. Like, that's not a bad contract at all for him. Hairline L. Yo, that's a point in his favor. We've talked about this. He may end up in Miami. Mavs Film Room Pod mentioned trading Josh Green for Daniel Gafford. Thoughts? That's interesting. I wish you guys could see my cat right now. He looks so cute. I don't think I would do that, to be honest with you. I think he stays in Detroit. They're going to try to win this year, for better or for worse. And I could be wrong, but I believe he was a part of the coaching interview process. I could be wrong there. I might be thinking about somebody else. But I feel like I'll care about shooting so much. It's nice, but for our offense, our offense is great already. That's what the Mavericks said whenever they went after, like, they were cool with trading Seth Curry for Josh Richardson, and it just kind of really backfired. You always feel like you can replace shooting, but it's hard. I need Thybulle on the Mavs so he can make those little vlogs in the locker room. He's still doing those? I just hate him being on a rebuilder, being so old and so good. Well, they're going to try to win this year. And he'll be a trade deadline guy. Like, if they're bad again, he'll for sure be out of there by the trade deadline. Okay. Next up, Jordan Clarkson. Not a lot of talk about Jordan Clarkson. Why are teams like Detroit trying to win? I don't know, but that's like their goal is to make the playoffs. They have said that. Like, that's just not a lot of conversation about Jordan Clarkson, who I believe turned down his player option, or is he not decided yet? These guys have to decide soon. Has he decided what or not? He's gonna hit free agency. And he's an interesting target, man. A bucket getter. A tough bucket getter. Could be a microwave scorer off the bench. He's like, what, 30? Which doesn't necessarily mean he's done. 31. Damn. I only say damn because it does not feel like he's 31 years old. But all of these teams I could see being interested. Wait, so what's going on with Bullock? Is he eligible for a trade today? No, they just have to decide whether or not they're going to keep him. Like, it's like his contract's not 100% guaranteed. I definitely think they're going to keep him, though. I think he stays. He looks young. He's old. I think it's just, it doesn't feel like he's 31. Like, I vividly remember him as a rookie on the Lakers. I think he stays. I think he likes Utah. They like him. They need scoring. They need guards. So there's probably mutual interest there. Seth Curry. Lots of teams interested in Seth Curry. What is his market? Are we looking at like a mid? Are we looking not a mid-level exception? I've seen like ESPN put him in that group. There's no fucking way. But are we looking at like a minimum? Because if we're looking at a minimum, I'm like the Suns. But yeah, biannual taxpayer. Yeah, 3 to 4 million. I think. But if you're Seth Curry and the Timberwolves are like, hey, we'll throw you $4 million, right? But then the Suns come to you and say, hey, we'll give you the vet minimum, but you're gonna play and you're gonna be on the Suns. Where do we think he would go? Whose minutes would he replace on the Mavs? I feel like he would be Tim Hardaway Jr. Assurance if you lost Tim Hardaway Jr. in a trade or something. Money talks. Well, I mean, he's been in the league a long time. It's not like he's had a huge deals or anything, but I have him going to the Celtics. I don't know why. Just got that feeling. I know that they don't need like a lot of guards, but just some more shooting. He's going to want to go somewhere good. But I don't even know what his fucking value is, though. Like, I have no idea. Are the Celtics cap-wise after the KP trade? Yeah, they don't have a lot of money, but I think they should have access to, like, their taxpayer one. But they just get some shooting. Seth should have gotten the underrated documentary. Underrated. 2-time MVP. Colton, $5. If the Mavs win a chip in the next 3 years, I demand you get slightly biased and Nico's face tattooed somewhere on your body. Oh, slightly based. I can't guarantee any more tattoo bets. If the Mavericks win a finals, we'll definitely do something crazy. I could see Seth as a buck. Seth makes sense on like any contending team, really, but I don't know what his market is. No, I'm getting the Aussie tap before the season. Dario Saric. What does your shirt say? My favorite team is trying to kill me. This shirt will be for sale at some point. I'm making a limit. We're making a limited edition. I'll donate 100 if you promise. Don't donate 100. Anyways, Dario Saric, just really quickly here. The only reason I'm including Dario Saric is because him and Golden State just makes perfect fucking sense. Like, I was just looking at the available free agents, and I'm like, who the hell is Golden State going to get? They have, like, no money. Like, I don't even think they can use an exception. Like, minimum. And him and Golden State just makes sense. Can space the floor. Like, kind of a versatile defender before he tore his ACL. Pretty decent passer. Like, it just makes some sense to me. Okay? So I know you're probably thinking, why the hell is Dario Saric even included on this PowerPoint? That's why. Okay? Javon Carter. I actually don't even remember where I put him. Javon Carter is an interesting free agent. Okay. He's an interesting free agent. Unrestricted? Very underappreciated and underutilized quite a bit. Hunter would barely cover the tattoo cost. I got a pretty good tattoo guy. Javon Carter is a dog. Great point of attack defender. Just a good guard. Good for the Timberwolves. Yeah, they need to guard help too. Because, I mean, their point guard right now is an old Mike Conley. Could he go back to Phoenix? Doubt it, really. Could go back to Phoenix, but they probably better than a vet min guy. Grizzlies are trying to get gritty again. Yeah, I could see Memphis, because Memphis is going to need guard help too. I thought about the Mavericks, but I think he gets more money, and I don't think they use their mid-level or anything like that on a guard. I could be wrong though. Could be the Heat if Gabe Vincent leaves. Yeah, that could be nice. I think he stays with Milwaukee though. Milwaukee is they're in a dicey situation. They're in a dicey situation. They're old as shit. They don't have assets. They don't have any intriguing young players. Like, if they didn't win that ring in 2021, and I know they won the ring, but we'd be talking about them fucking it up like how people talk about the Mavericks. Truthfully. I assume Bucks didn't expect to choke last season. Well, no team expects to choke or lose. But I don't know how they improve their team in the coming years when Chris Middleton's getting older, Drew's getting older, Brooke is old. How do you promise Giannis on like the back end of his prime that you're going to be good? I don't know. It's interesting. But I think he stays with the Bucks just because Milwaukee can't really be losing guys. I'm assuming they have his bird rights. Kelly Oubre, yes. You might have forgotten about Kelly Oubre. He is a free agent this year. Yes, nobody's talking about him because surprisingly, you would look at Kelly Oubre's stat line and think that there would be some group of people who are like, holy shit, man. Like, yeah, Kelly Oubre's really fucking good. Nobody says that. 20 points per game. He averaged 20 points per game. 20 points per game, but it's got to be the worst 20 points per game you'll ever see with your own two eyes. I don't know. Hornet Seawood? Yeah, he was never really good. You said that about Ayton? Say a lot of things. Well, I say a lot of things. Kelly Oubre or Poole? I'd rather have Jordan Poole. I think these are the teams that could be interested in him. Kyrie Irving intends to take free agent meetings with other teams. Poor Ramona Shelburne. Okay, Ramona. All right, Ramona. Is he getting a full mid-level? Kelly Oubre? I'm thinking Grizzlies. I don't know. I don't feel great about it. I have no idea what the fuck Kelly Oubre's market's going to be. I don't know what his market's going to be, but they need like some offensive, forward threat. So this kind of makes some sense. This makes some sense to me. I don't want to spend too much time thinking about Kelly Oubre. Bruce Brown. Here we go. Every team in the NBA, I believe, is on this list. A perfect role player, does everything you could ask of him, which includes playing the small ball 5 despite the fact that he's 6'5". Full mid-level guy, 100%. But also, if you're a team like the Spurs or the Rockets, you have money, you want a veteran presence, you want a championship winner on your team. Worst case scenario, you flip them down the line to a contender. If you're Denver, you want him back. Hey, wink, wink. We'll give you that 1+1 deal, that Bobby Portis guy. You can opt out. We'll have your bird rights, and then we can pay you whatever you want. What are we thinking? Rockets is possible. They're going to overpay somebody. They're going to overpay somebody just to get it. It makes so much sense to me in my brain. Full mid-level. They have somebody in mind. They have somebody in mind. I think they're moving like a team that knows what they're doing with the mid-level. And this makes sense. Stein already reported that this is the first guy they're going after. Stein reported that. So you're envisioning Bruce Brown, Maxey, and Ayton front court? Who's Ramona Shelburne? The person who said Kyrie's taking meetings with other teams. Ramona Shelburne. I forgot Ramona Shelburne existed. God bless her, though. Mavericks are one of like 10 or 11 teams that have access to it. The mid-level. It just makes sense. He can play a lot. Then they choose McGee over him. There's literally there's nothing that confirms that at all. There's nothing that confirms that other than wild Twitter speculation and Bruce Brown saying a team told him that he wasn't going to play and everyone just assumed it was Dallas, which I don't even think is true, really. It's probably true, though, isn't it? I don't think so, man. They signed JaVale McGee like 30 seconds into free agency. Like, I think that was their guy the entire time. You're dreaming. By the way, last year I wanted him, and I was mad jealous of the Nuggets free agency last year. Yeah, they killed the free agency last year. But, yeah, I think this happens. He said a lot of teams talked to him but didn't offer him a lot of money. The Mavericks had the taxpayer exception that they didn't want to use fully because they wanted to use it on Jaden Hardy. Oh, Christian Wood's on here. Don't worry. So I do think Bruce Brown's going to the Mavericks. That's just what I think. Pretty sure Kyrie's agent reached out to Ramona. I don't think so. Why would he reach out to Ramona Shelburne? Cole Anthony could draw some interest. He's on the market. It makes sense. They need to get off of a guard. If you're a team that just kind of is looking for younger players, I'm definitely making calls about him. Cole Anthony for Joe Harris shooting? I don't think the Magic would want to do that. D'Lo for Anthony? I don't think the Magic would want to do that either. In my brain, I see the Wizards. Why not just go out and get like 2 bucket offensive guys who can put up a lot of numbers? two fucking offensive guards who can put up a bunch of numbers, and if I trade one of them later, I trade one of them. Just make so buzz so the Mavs won't lowball the offer and shorter and smaller deal. Yeah, but why Ramona Shelburne? Like, I guess maybe. I mean, it definitely feels like if it's true, then yes, for sure. That's what it is. But they have Monte, Tyus, and Poole. Well, to get to Tyus here in a bit, or not Tyus, sorry, Monte here in a bit. They have the holy grail of solid backup point guards. Yeah, they really do. Her and Kyrie are tight. Are they? They get shots so Wizards can try to get as many picks as possible next year at the trade deadline. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just get some guys who can score and stuff. Cole fits really well on the Spurs, though. Yeah, that could be a nice fit, too. Do you buy Skins tweet about 4160? Yes. This is to avoid tampering. That could be true. Ramona and Kyrie do have a good relationship. Like, I really don't. It doesn't mean anything to me. It means nothing to me. Jonas Valanciunas. So I'm going to be spoiling something in this prediction. I'll just say that. I'll be spoiling something. All right, no more Kyrie stuff. That just threw me off. Kyrie's going to be a Maverick. Like, I'm very confident about it, okay? I went into the summer expecting Kai to talk to at least 2 to 3 other teams. Yeah, like he might talk to some other guys, but he's staying a Maverick, so I don't even really care. Are you sure about Friday during free agency start? Yes. I mean, it's news. It is, but it's not like crazy news. Not enough to like throw off the stream, really, in my opinion. So if you're a team looking for a center, it might behoove you to take a chance on Jonas Valanciunas. Who is expiring, by the way. If you're a team like the Mavericks, it does make some sense, right? Of course, I already predicted they get Ayton, so it doesn't make sense in this scenario. But if you don't get Ayton, you can instead Knicks have shut down any trade talks at this time due to ridiculous asking prices for certain players. So anyways, if you're looking for a stopgap center, Jonas on expiring makes a lot of sense. He's still a good player, a great rebounder, not a very good defender, but not horrible. Can stretch the floor. My prediction is, and again, this is going to be spoiling something down the road. The Atlanta Hawks. Yeah. If you're thinking to yourself, what the hell? If you're thinking to yourself, what the hell? We'll get to it here in a bit. We'll get to it later. But if something were to happen to Capella, Jonas makes some sense to fill in. What do you mean spoil God inside knowledge? I'm saying spoil my my future predictions. Paul George, here we go. Here it is. Is Paul George going to get traded? Lots of buzz. And I have some... If the Clippers were to blow it up, I think this is the year to do it. Because, this has been talked about before. Bill Simmons brings this up all the fucking time on his podcast. They're opening up a new stadium, not this season, but the following season. And you don't really want to go into a season, a new stadium with a rebuilding ass roster. Which is why I think if you wanted to shut it down, it would be time to do it now. That way, you can go into next offseason with a better plan of what you're doing, and you're already into the rebuild, if that makes sense. So if that were the case, I don't know what Paul George market looks like. I mean, there was reports earlier, like a couple days ago, maybe yesterday, that there was talks with the Trailblazers about the 3rd overall pick. I don't know what to make of that report, because that could be, the Clippers wanted the 3rd overall pick and the Trailblazers said, go fuck yourself. I'm not sure. But does my reasoning make sense? Clippers gave up so much for him, they'll want something back. Yeah, that's part of it too. Like, they literally sold their entire future for this Kawhi and Paul George pairing, that they would have to get insane returns. And that shit's not going to happen. So I don't really know what to make of this. Now, keep in mind, I did predict Cat was going to get traded to the Clippers. So I do think he stays, but it's interesting. I don't think it's a coincidence that his name's been talked about quite a bit. How many free agents do you think will be signed right when the clock strikes 5 on Friday? There's usually a decent amount. PG to the Heat after they miss out on Dame? Why not dump Gobert instead? Makes way more sense. I'm not going to say what I'm thinking in my brain. I think Gobert might. I don't know if I'd rather have Gobert or Cat. I'm just going to say it. If I'm Minnesota and I'm building around Anthony Edwards, I don't know who I'd rather have. I'd have to really think about it. I might need to start a new account in this chat because my rep is cooked slightly. Why would Clippers trade PG for that bum Scoot? Average 15 in the G League. Bro, because you say shit like that. Thunder easily won the PG trade, right? Oh, I mean, easily. Why are the Heat involved in trades? The only decent player to trade is Hero, and nobody wants that contract for a style of play. They have like some decent expirings and picks and young guys. Keep in mind, like, I don't think Paul George value would be crazy. Like, you're not getting 4 firsts for Paul George at this point. Dillon Brooks, here he is. So I'm going to make a comeback, and you're going to start taking me serious. Trust me. I believe you. I do have faith in you. So there's been interesting reporting up and down about Dillon Brooks. He wants $20-something million a year. Well, then that changes to, oh, well, he's actually cool with $12 million. He's cool at the mid-level. And if it's the mid-level, then yeah, a lot of teams are going to be interested in him. For sure. The Mavericks. A team like Cleveland that really needs a wing. Makes sense. Heat makes sense. Portland makes sense. I don't know why I have Washington on here. Denver? Kind of sneaky? They really get his shoot first mentality out of him? A lot of options. Pop would never sign Brooks. I wouldn't say never. I do think he ends up in Houston. If they're motivated to pay him, like, that's where he'll go. There's already reports that they want to pay him. If can't wait to trade for DeAndre. He's going to lead us to a championship. We're going to win the Western Conference now. I can't. What the hell? Not so fast there, buckaroo. DeAndre Ayton is fool's gold. Yeah. You're tricking yourself. He's not going to help you win. $30 million for that? I don't think so, buckaroo. I don't think so. Think again. Think again. Beautiful. Yeah. Quentin Tarantino. Cam Reddish hits unrestricted free agency. God. Really? They didn't tender him? Jesus. Wait, Thybulle is unrestricted too? Yeah, I thought Thybulle was restricted. Okay. All right. Anyways, I think if I think if the Rockets are really willing to spend money, you know, it is funny though. Like the Rockets want a vet on their team, and Dillon Brooks is the guy you're going for. Okay, I mean whatever. I'm not a GM, but okay. But it does up the intensity of your team a little bit. So Kawhi, same thing I mentioned earlier. If they were going to burn it down, I think this would be the time to do it. Because what? You know, another season of fucking Kawhi and Paul George being hurt, like you're not going to get shit for them. And then on top of that, too, like, so what's going to happen? Kawhi and Paul George are both going to go to the Clippers this offseason and say, hey, I want an extension. The Clippers are going to say, okay, how does $15 million a year sound? Because you guys never fucking play. How does that sound? And they're going to say, no. Kawhi back to the Raptors? I could see it. I could see it. I don't know where the hell Kawhi's next team would be. I think he stays, but it's just something to think about. He's a Clipper for life. Oh, here we go. Shams bomb. Chicago Bulls and center Nikola Vucevic are nearing a 3-year, $60 million contract extension. We just talked about that. Didn't we say 20 million? I said 20 million was about the extent of where I would be. Nikola Jokic. $20 mil's fine. I wouldn't, like, I'm not jumping up and down for, I mean, they're really running it back. Jesus Christ. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. $3 years, $20 million for Vooch a year. Okay. There's one name off the board. The center market that was already thin becomes thinner. Josh Richardson, what are you doing here, buddy? Mavs legend Jay Rich. Josh Richardson. The worst contract in sports? Okay, I can't go that far. 20 million is not the worst contract in sports. I gotta close out some. I have a million fucking tabs open. Hold on. Miles Bridges, Theo Maledon, and PJ Washington are all restricted free agents. Theo Maledon? Am I live on a news dump day? I feel like Josh Richardson's market's going to be pretty robust just because I think he's going to be like a $5 million a year guy, and there's a lot of teams that will probably do that. I don't think he's a full mid-level guy. Whatever, like a taxpayer, biannual guy. And if that's the case, I think a lot of teams would be interested in that, like including the Mavericks, the Celtics, yeah. I think a return to the Heat's not out of the realm of possibility. A return to the Sixers can't be out of the realm of possibility. Return to the Pelicans could be possible. Definitely the Suns will be knocking on his door. This is the type of player the Suns would be talking to. Cavs on the TPE. Definitely fits a big need for Cleveland. I'm going Denver. Feels like a Denver Nugget. Does a lot of the things they would want a player to do, I think. Dude, I was today years old when I found out LeBron played for Miami. I have literal 7-year-olds in my chat, guys. They lose Bruce, I see it. Yeah, I just think he's a nice stopgap too for their young guys. Like I think they're gonna put a lot of pressure on their younger players. I think they're gonna put a lot of pressure on their younger guys, and a guy like Josh Richardson alleviates some of that pressure. Anyway, the Nuggets get ahead of the second apron and trade Michael Porter Jr. next year. I don't think he's a Nugget lifer. I'll just say that. I'm making an alt, and y'all will start respecting me on that alt. Right now, everyone respects you, and we love you. Ho, 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 whoa, what are the odds? Miles Bridges, welcome. What are the odds? Miles Bridges enters the equation. Just got offered an extending offer, or qualifying offer. He's restricted. He's probably restricted in more ways than one. Like, can he leave certain city lines? Makes a lot of sense on Memphis. Listen, he's serving, I think, a 10-game suspension. Serving a suicide squad? Jesus Christ. He's serving a 10-game suspension. He's a good player. There's a reason why he's going to be back in the league and probably making a decent amount of money. Very good player. Was having damn near an all-star level season 2 years ago before he did the unthinkable. I think a lot of teams... Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, right? If you are the Wizards, you know what? No one's going to watch us anyway. We'll take the fucking bad PR hit. We don't give a shit. Nobody's going to tune into our games this year regardless. So, fuck it. Yeah, Miles Bridges is way better than John Collins. Is Miles Bridges who the Rockets want Cam Whitmore hopes he is? Yeah. I mean, I saw the Miles Bridges comparison a lot for Cam Whitmore, just in terms of a basketball player. Like, the Wizards could just be like, yeah, we don't give a shit. Like, this will be the most anybody talks about us all season. We'll be fine. The Heat could just fall back on Heat culture and just say, hey, you know, we have a good track record. We believe in them. But the Hornets have already bared the burden, so I'm thinking he stays. Oh, what? The Federal Bureau of Prisons? Who put that in here? That's fucked up. That's not right. I think he ultimately stays in Charlotte. Restricted. Makes a lot of sense. Charlotte, again, they've already been through the worst of it, so fuck it. Yeah, him and LaMelo are legitimate good friends. Mavs culture nightmare via the media would be unbearable? Yeah. Why am I getting 15 notifications about this Vucevic signing? Literally has changed the league. I just read the Mavs can offer Kyrie 273. That shit's not happening, man. League-altering move just happened. All right, next up, Chris Middleton. Another example, like, they're fucked, man. Some of the stuff I'm hearing about Chris Middleton and what his contract might look like, they're fucked. They're talking like $40 million a year. Go look at NBA Central's last tweet. Is it the Ramona Shelburne one? Draymond Green will meet with Damian Lillard in Portland tonight. When did Middleton become a bad defender? People are convinced he's just a horrid defender. I'm just worried about his injury and about to turn 32. He was pretty nice in the playoffs. Would you pay Middleton or Brown $40 million a year? I mean, I'd pay Jaylen Brown $40 million a year. Middleton, I wouldn't know. I think he's staying in Milwaukee, like guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed. He was in on all of the coaching meetings when they were looking for a new coach. Like, he's for sure staying there. Whether or not it's smart, who am I to say? What else are they going to do, though? What else are they going to do? Utah wants Anunoby. Everyone wants him. I don't even know what his value is going to be. I've seen people say mid-level. No chance in hell. If you give the full mid-level to Utah, just pack it up. It's over. 6'9", 44% from three this year. Shooter, he's big, decent defender, limited as a player, but a solid role guy through and through. So if he's a minimum guy, I think he's going to Phoenix guaranteed. Like, it just makes sense. He just played with KD. But I think if he is a minimum guy, pretty much every team is going to call. I would have to imagine most contending teams are going to call and ask about him. There might be a team here that's just like, fuck it, we'll give you $7 million. We'll cut into our exception. We'll give you $7 million. I'm interested to see how that pans out. The Suns make a lot of sense, but for some reason I'm going Lakers. Yeah, I don't for some reason that's where I'm leaning. I don't think the Lakers have like a crazy offseason. Like, I don't think they add a lot of new players, but I see Utah being a guy that they could add. Lakers going for the Japan market? Yeah. Oh my God. I've gotten seven. Okay, I get it. It's a new contract, but 7 notifications about Vucevic. They get every minimum guy, so it makes sense. If we get him, then my theory of his shooting going down is definitely true. So I need some Spurs predictions in my veins. Yeah, be patient, man. Jeremy Grant. Fuck. I should have held off on Jeremy Grant a little bit because it's going to be a little bit telling. Jeremy Grant might be the most puzzling, not talked about free agent in a long time. Like, this is a on the outside looking in, like, oh my God, some injuries happened. Jeremy Grant's an all-star type of guy. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like, he's not like a traditional all-star guy, but it's like a few injuries here and there, and he sneaks into the all-star game. Would your stance on the Suns change if KD/Book convinced Lopez to sign for the taxpayer exception? I don't even think they have that. Fringe all-star, Wiggins type all-star. So all of these teams make sense to me. Rockets, Pistons, a reunion there for Pistons. Rockets, Pistons, Spurs can just throw a bag at them. And it kind of makes sense for them, right? Like, fuck it. Let's get a really, really solid role guy who's been around the league. Let's bring him in here for our younger guys. That makes sense. Then teams like Miami, Cleveland, Dallas, they need some help to make it happen, but I know literally no news is ever heard about him. And what happens to him is going to be very telling. Because if he leaves, you could, like, I think that's Damian's gone. Like, that's just, if we get news first day of free agency that Jeremy Grant's going somewhere else, it's like, oh shit. What about the Cavs for Garland? That would be so fucking dumb for Cleveland. But yeah, for Jeremy Grant, his last free agency, he wanted money. He wanted to go to a team coached by a black coach, which Portland currently has. Yeah, I'm going Detroit. I think he goes back. I think he goes back to Detroit. They've got money to spend. They've got money to spend. He's already been linked to them already. He was already on them, and I think he loved it there. And for Detroit, it makes a lot of sense. I think this makes a ton of sense. And that's Wesley Matthews to the Mavs. We're clueless with this one. Yeah, I mean, the likeliest outcome is he stays with Portland, but I wanted to mix it up a little bit. And I have a scenario later. You guys could just fucking guess. Draymond Green, speaking of the Blazers. Uh-oh. Draymond's taking a meeting in Portland with Damian Lillard. That's what just came out. If he were to be available. Sacramento's got $30 million to throw around, but we did predict Kyle Kuzma to go there, so that eliminates them. Portland really wants him. Dallas, there's been some weird rumblings there. Indiana, they need a forward. Detroit, does he go home? Lakers, we already know his relationship with LeBron. I put the Spurs here because they have money. And what if, like, Draymond Green is a basketball historian. He's a basketball fan through and through. What if Greg Popovich just went to Draymond and said, hey, we'll give you fucking whatever, $35 million a year. Just come down here. You can mentor these younger guys. We could be a competitive team immediately. You could play with me. You've already won 4 rings. Detroit was like a big thing when he was a restricted free agent, I remember. Lots of options here. I think he stays. I think it's a pipe dream that Draymond leaves. An absolute pipe dream. Way better chances of like Clay leaving than Draymond. Like way bigger chances. I think Clay leaving is at some point a foregone conclusion. Whether that's via trade or in free agency, I just think it's a foregone conclusion he's out of there. He's from Detroit? Yeah, from around there, I'm pretty sure. I thought Pop was retiring soon. Did Wemby single-handedly extend his career? Yeah, pretty much. All right, next up we have OG. Yeah, pretty much every single team in the league should be interested in OG if he were actually made available for a reasonable price. They traded Jordan Poole for an AARP member to keep Green. He's definitely staying. Oh, yeah, he's definitely staying. Dre next to Sabonis would be huge. Could go small in playoffs and play Dre at the center next to Keegan Murray. Oh yeah, like the fit on Sacramento makes a lot of sense. For OG, again, pretty much every team in the league would be interested in him. Do I need to explain why? 3-and-D, one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. Definitely overrated as an asset. Not worth like a half decade worth of picks. The idea of OG is better than the actual player. I mean, he's a great player, but yes, the idea of his offense at least. Where it's like, yeah, he's developing. It's like, no, he's probably just never going to. I just don't see Toronto doing anything. I mean, what I think Toronto should do and what I envision them doing are very different things. I think for them, one of OG or Siakam need to be gone this offseason. Like, you need to maximize your return for them now before it's the trade deadline and there's only 4 months away from them being unrestricted free agents. I love you slightly. Can you coach me to make the NBA? Yeah, sure. Make shots. Shoot every shot. You could take some plays off on defense because you're running the offense, so it's excusable. Don't pass. Passing's overrated and inefficient. Shoot a lot of mid-range jumpers. Rappers trading for Kawhi again would be hilarious. That would be funny. But I don't know. They need it. Like Siakam or OG, one of them needs to go for a big return. I don't know. One of them needs to. I would probably go Siakam, to be honest with you. Think any big free agent signings drag past this weekend and next week? Oh, yeah, of course. There will always be some. Zach LaVine. Okay, now we're getting a little bit spicy. Zach LaVine, very underappreciated at this juncture. Very underappreciated. If I'm a team like the Spurs and Zach LaVine's available, hell yeah. I'm making a fucking call. Rockets, on the other hand, you have so many young mouths to feed. I don't know if that's really what you should do. Brooklyn, they need some scoring. Knicks. Why San Antonio for LaVine? You have so much money. You have so many assets. You need somebody who could score some baskets. LaVine doesn't have high IQ to fit pop system. See, I think he's a better playmaker than he gets credit for. He's become a slept-on player. He's become a very slept-on player. Memphis makes a lot of sense. Pelicans, who like sneaky need like perimeter guys, because I'm just CJ McCollum. What we saw last year was dastardly. I don't know if I'd say underrated. I would just say overlooked. The Raptors are going to need perimeter guys if LaVine leaves. Hornets, why not? I think he stays, though, ultimately. I think he stays. I don't agree with the vision for the Bulls. I don't agree with it. Hope the Bulls 2K their team. They should. I mean, that should be what they're fucking doing. Right? Like, you're about to have to pay Patrick Williams. We don't even know what the hell he looks like. Like, we see several flashes here and there, but that's all we get because it's like the ball's in Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan's hands 24/7. They should fucking trade DeMar. Like, they need to trade DeMar. You lucked out in a weird way because DeMar's like peaking in his career right now. Any shot they trade DeRozan for D'Lo sign and trade? That's somewhat interesting. Max Strus. The Strus is loose. Great role player for the Heat. Going to command a lot of money from what it sounds like. So much so that it sounds like the Heat are completely priced out. Whatever contract he gets, in my opinion, is going to immediately look bad. That's just my opinion, personally. But he's played himself into that scenario, though. So you have to give him some credit. Like, he's played himself into getting overpaid by somebody this offseason, and it's going to happen. Spurs makes him say... Again, the Spurs have so much money that for them, it could just be like, fuck it. Yeah, this guy just went to the finals. Like, you know, we need some shooting. Same thing with the Rockets. Yep, similar thing with the Jazz. I don't even know if it's possible. Thunder needs some shooting. I don't even know if it's possible or how it would work financially. I see Chicago Bulls. I see it. I don't even know if it's possible. But this is just my opinion. What I envision happening. Chicago. He's going to be 28 during next season. Seems younger. Yeah, he does feel younger than that. But an older rookie. 24 as a rookie. I can just see Chicago being where he ends up. Again, I don't even know financially if that makes sense, but it doesn't have to make sense to make sense. Jalen McDaniels should have a good amount of suitors across the NBA. What's his price? Mid-level, taxpayer. I don't know. I'll be real with you guys. I'm not like the biggest Jalen McDaniels guy. Like if you're giving a full mid-level to him, I'm feeling pretty bad about it, to be honest with you. Is he a 3? He could play the 4. I don't think he's very good. I don't think he was very good in Philly either. Biannual guy. That's what I would be cool with. But I don't know. I think he might be getting more than that. I'm just not so sure. But he's still young, so like the younger rebuilding teams should be interested in him, but contending teams will also be interested in him. One of those guys. Why wouldn't Philly bring him back? Well, that's what I have happening. He returns to Philadelphia. Another one of these teams that can't really afford to be losing guys. Like, you know. The Heat, it's different because they like can't afford to bring back Max Strus. And they probably can't afford to bring back Gabe Vincent. They definitely can't afford to bring back both. But the Sixers should have no problem bringing back Jalen McDaniels. So, him as a 4 with Maxey behind him would be awesome. It would be okay. Yeah, Nurse is going to like him. He's a lengthy dude. He debates Diop. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, what the fuck? I think this guy's a good player. And I'm interested to see what his market turns out being. Interested. Fry, our San Antonio guy. I'm interested to see what his contract ends up being. Now, Mavericks fans owe him a lot of thanks because the final game of the season, he went off. And it led to the Mavericks getting the 10th overall pick in the draft. But he shot 40% from 3 this past year. Just, I'm very intrigued by his market. Is he going to be a minimum guy, or is he going to be like a sneaky like $7 million a year guy where you're like, whoa, what the fuck? He made $7 million? Like he got a 3-year, $21 million contract? I'm intrigued. It's almost like every free agent is linked to the Mavericks this summer. Yeah, having your team's logo pop up for every player is not a good thing. That means you have a lot of weaknesses that you need addressed. A long wing that can shoot. Yeah, he's an interesting player, but I think he stays. 3 years, $20 million. I think he stays with the Spurs. Again, they have money. He's younger. Well, he's 27, but let's be honest, Suns going to get most of these guys on men deals. I don't think so. I do have the Suns getting some guys here. Julius Randle. Is he a sneaky trade guy? I read Ramona Shelburne's report. Why the Mavericks? The Mavericks will always be tied to Julius Randle because he's from Dallas. That's just how it works. Randle for Cat straight up. That would be a fucking hilarious trade. I'd rather trade for Randle than Ayton. Thoughts? I can see where you're coming from. If they cost the same price to get via trade, I can see where you're coming from. I think Julius Randle would cost more. I could see all of these teams being interested. This feels like a desperation Portland move. Well, to be fair, Randall's made an All-NBA team 2 times in the last 3 years. So you got to give him some props there. I think he stays with New York. I just entered him in here because he's like always in trade talks. Or like always speculated. Trey Lyles. Another like Kata Bates Diop type player. Just a solid player that I'm interested to see what the market looks like for. Fake all NBA teams can't convince me. Can shoot the 3, can space the floor, smart player, could fit a lot of teams. Return to San Antonio, yeah. Could be interesting. Trey's a Spurs type player. Well, he was a Spurs type player. He strikes me as a Kings lifer. I don't know about lifer, but one of those guys who's just on the Kings for like one of those role guys who's just on the same team for a long fucking time. Suns definitely makes sense, but I think he'll get maybe a little bit more than that to stay in Sacramento, to be honest. But the type of role guy you want on your team. Just thought he deserved a shout. Austin Reaves. If you have money to spend, you need to be throwing a bag at Austin Reaves. I was looking at his stats, like his advanced numbers. Damn. Like Austin Reaves was going crazy. Like his advanced stats. If I'm a team like San Antonio, if I'm a team like Houston, I'm throwing fucking $20 million or whatever I can throw at him. I'm throwing whatever I can throw at him. Not a one-hit wonder? No, I don't think his game's a one-hit wonder, man. The way he plays, I don't see it. Like the Spurs make a ton of sense to throw a fucking bag at him. But the Lakers would be idiots to not match it. I think he probably signs an offer sheet. Like, I think that's probably what the Lakers do. Because they can only offer him a certain amount of money. So he's going to have to go sign an offer sheet. Reaves, Vassell, Keldon, Sohan, Wimby starting 5. That moves me. What do you think the Mavs starting 5 will be next season? Luka, Kyrie, Josh Green, Bruce Brown, DeAndre Ayton. How does that work? Who's the 4? I don't know. You play Bruce Brown up, I guess. Lakers can only offer $450. Yeah, so he's going to sign a contract with somewhere. But if you're a younger team like the Spurs, hell yeah. You're a team like the Spurs, and your 2 choices are we either get a really, really good young player for the money that we need to spend anyways, or we force the Lakers to match a huge contract. Either way, win-win for the Spurs. Hardaway Jr. I'll stand on my beliefs. that the Mavericks could get a late first from a desperate team. Now, Gambo, whatever his name is, the Suns reporter that they all love, he did say, yeah, the Mavericks were trying to trade Tim Hardaway Jr., but only because Luka hates him and wants to get off of him. Now, I don't believe that, but I will say I've heard some things about Tim and Luka that, you know, they might be coworkers. Let's just say that. I'll just say that. That's what I've heard. But if you're a team in desperate need of shooting, so see, that's literally the T. There's no like real T outside of that. So yeah, Spencer has it. Phoenix. I think that the Ayton stuff might happen, and if it does happen, then Tim's definitely going to Phoenix. So there you go. It'll be a nice gift for them. CBA's been signed? Yeah, I saw that. The Suns get a spot-up shooter that can play alongside Booker and Beal and KD. The 676-page agreement goes into effect on July 1st. Should we read all of it on stream? Danilo Gallinari. Don't forget about him. Probably going to get bought out, right? By the Wizards. I don't know what the hell's going to happen there. But just missed a whole season with an ACL injury. A team that needs a bigger forward. Some offensive creation, some shooting. Could definitely see it. He screams Miami Heat to me. Does he not? Does he not just scream like a Miami Heat player? Would you do Tim Hardaway Jr., McGee, and Holmes for Ayton straight up if you were Dallas? Yeah. I don't feel great about it, but I would do it. Return to Denver. Could see that. See the Heat page tweet. Would you really trade Jaime Jaquez Jr. in a Lillard package? I did see that. When does free agency start? Friday at 5, I think. Anyways, Gallinari screams Heat to me. Play Capella. The Hawks have not been shy about letting it be known that they kind of want to get off his contract. If you're a team looking for a center, it makes sense. The Lakers, AD can move to the 4. Toronto, if they lose out on Jakob. Mavs, stopgap. But I spoiled my prediction earlier when I had Jonas going to the Hawks. Capella to the Pelicans. Capella to the Pelicans. Has a nice ring to it. They upgrade at the with some more rim protection. Much better rim protector than Valanciunas. A Capelican. Ooh, nice. Is stopgap a Texas phrase? I don't think so, is it? Imagine Tim has another season. He shoots 33% from 3 like 2 years ago. Then we would look stupid for not trading him. Well, to be fair, like the Mavericks were offering him. Capella's so underrated as a pure rebounder. He'd be doing Dennis Rodman type shit. Yeah, he's a freak on the offensive glass. So is Valanciunas, though, to be fair. But yeah, I think Capella on the Pelicans, it makes some sense. Is Isaiah Joe on this list? Is he a free agent? I don't think he's a free agent. I don't think he's a free agent, and they're not going to trade him. $1 million and $2 million next 2 years. Karis LeVert. Anybody remember him? Did everybody forget about Karis LeVert? I don't blame you, really. His career has not been what we thought it could possibly be. What up, Retina? But he is an unrestricted free agent this summer. And I don't know what his market will look like. The Cavs are trying to trade him at the deadline. He's had some ups and some downs. An inconsistent player with a weird fit. But he's about to make a lot of sense on Cleveland. And I'll explain why later. Don't you worry. I think he stays with the Cavs. They're just not in any real position. Sort of like the Sixers, like the Bucks. They're not in any real position to be letting free agents go. Long Coward talks about the Lakers, calls out the Lakers for potentially overpaying Austin Reaves. Oh my God, he's comparing. Oh my God, he's comparing Austin Reaves to Mac McClung. What? What the hell's going on there? How many games has Mac McClung played? What are these stats even from? Mac McClung's played like 10 NBA games, if that. Shout out to the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Oh, he's played 4. My fault. Where the fuck is he getting these stats from? Bro, he's pulling from 4 NBA games. That is honestly hilarious levels of hating. 4 NBA games is what he's pulling from. They do have one thing in common. That's true. Jaylen Brown. Last 2 seasons, he's played 4 games. If Jaylen Brown were on the market, yes, every team would want him. Let's just skip to it. He's not leaving, okay? He's just not leaving. He's going to get a huge bag. But if you were traded, you know, Atlanta makes sense. Does a team like San Antonio, do they sort of push their rebuild forward with a guy like that? Portland to appease Dame, but I don't even know what that trade would look like. Cleveland, Darius Garland for Jaylen Brown. Now, if they're serious about trading Darius Garland, that's a trade that could be interesting. Because the Celtics get a point guard. They're not as redundant. And the Cavs sort of move off that smaller backcourt. The Mavs move off that smaller backcourt. And now have Jaylen Brown alongside Donovan Mitchell. Interesting. You can't say it's not interesting. But I don't think he's leaving. Some of these other teams feel like pipe dreams. Malcolm Brogdon. I mean, they're openly trying to shop him. They did try to trade him until his medicals came out. Why are you so high on Garland? Is he even 66th percentile player at his position? There's a lot of great point guards, but he's young and he's very fucking good. I could see all of these teams having some type of interest in Malcolm Brogdon, assuming like his medicals aren't that terrible. you know, some of these teams like damn near need a starting point guard. And like you could maybe talk yourself into Brogdon. But after trading Marcus Smart, I don't know. I don't really know if you could lose Brogdon. Like, you're going to have Brogdon play. Like, Brogdon's going to have to play for the Celtics. That's a little bit spooky. Surprised no Mavs buzz on Brogdon. Would Maxey for Brogdon framework make sense if they got another guard? I think Brogdon's making like $20 million, isn't he? Yeah, Brogdon's at $22 million. Donovan Mitchell. I'm just putting him on here. Like, we need some like interesting trade stuff to talk about. Windhorst did say that like the Cavs were doing something crazy and he didn't want to speak on it. And then immediately, Solid baseball for a second. Dude is literally a god. Yeah, Shohei Ohtani is a god. Okay. He said the Cavs were going to do something crazy, and then there's reports today that Darius Garland was actually on the trading block, which just is fucking nuts to me. I don't get it. I don't personally understand it. I guess they're wanting to rebuild around Donovan Mitchell. But, sorry. I got a phone call. And it was spam. You know, what if Donovan Mitchell, what if Donovan Mitchell's 2 years away from free agency? What if the Cavs realize, you know what? Like, he's not going to want to stay. So let's maximize value while we can. You know, I don't know. I'm just spitballing, like, just sort of spitballing Donovan Mitchell stuff. Wait a second! Was I? Was I just spitballing? Listen, here would be my logic. If I'm the Cavs and I feel like Donovan Mitchell might leave in free agency, which is a very real possibility, I figure he's coming off of a great, tremendous season. Made the All-NBA team. All-star. But this small backcourt can't win. And again, maybe I'm not super convinced that he's going to stay. Right? Maybe I'm not very convinced that he's going to stay in free agency. So I maximize value. The Nets say, hey, you know what? We need a star. We have no incentive to be bad because we don't have our picks. We're convinced we can keep him in Brooklyn. I'm trying to think because there's going to be one shocking trade. There always is. There almost is always a shocking trade or like rumors of a shocking trade. Why can't it be Donovan Mitchell again? When he said today we're not trading Darius, Don, or Mobley. Well, shit happens, man. There's like I was thinking about a mock Donovan Mitchell to the Nets trade, and there's like a framework where it really makes sense for both sides, I think. Sally is wrong again. Dude, I'm predicting Donovan Mitchell getting traded to the Nets. Like, I'm not shooting for 100% accuracy here. As soon as you offer a player, their value goes down. So, of course, you want to act like they're untradeable to mark up value. Could you get a wing player for Garland or Mitchell to pair with one of those bigger players? Yeah, the framework would be something like, you know, Cam Johnson going to the Nets. They do have like a decent amount of young guys. Like, they just had a pretty good draft. Whatever picks you could offer. People saying and talking about insiders saying people won't get traded, while the Warriors GM says that He expects 4+ more years of Poole. Then a few days later, poof. Well, I mean, the chances of Donovan Mitchell getting traded are actually very slim. Like, the chances of Jordan Poole getting traded were high. That was just posturing. Mitchell as a point guard in Brooklyn? Yeah. I mean, the Nets traded Harden a year after trading for him, so not unheard of. But this would be like, you guys should individually donate me $100 if this fucking happens. DeJounte Murray, sneaky trade guy. Sneaky trade guy. Is Atlanta in love with the idea of financially being tied to Trae Young and DeJounte Murray backcourt? Am I in love with the idea of being tied to DeJounte Murray financially? No, not really. So a team like Toronto, like what's the framework of DeJounte Murray and Pascal Siakam? The Hawks have to add more, of course, but do we think it can get there? Do you think Lively becomes a 4 someday? No. They have like 5 picks tied to GJ, though. They would want a lot for him. Yeah, but what if it's Siakam? I think it was 3 firsts for DeJounte, wasn't it? Why don't you think he can ever become a 4? He just isn't that type of player. DJ is so overrated. Yeah, I mean, it was 4 firsts? I thought it was 3. Was it really 4? Anyways, any of the teams you see mentioned could use a point guard. Bulls desperately need one. Minnesota is going to need one moving forward. Unless you know, Anthony Edwards, you're going to put the ball in his hands. But even then, I still think you need a point guard, like, of the future. I love Mike Conley, but Utah is going to need a point guard of the future sometime soon. Boston. Toronto. We just mentioned. The Pelicans. I do like Dyson Daniels, though. I do ultimately think he stays, but just something to keep an eye on. Monte Morris slept on. Wasn't fantastic with the Wizards this year, but with them getting Jordan Poole, I predicted they'd get Cole Anthony. I definitely think Monte Morris is probably going to be on the move. They just have a lot of guards now. Tyus Jones. Definitely feel like Monte Morris's days with the Wizards have probably come to an end. Any team that needs a point guard, like, if you're a contending team and you are in desperate need of a point guard, Monte Morris, you could do worse with limited assets. But if you need a backup point guard, yeah. Any chance Ant Edwards wants out of Minnesota? Not anytime soon. Celtics trading like Brogdon and 4 firsts for Murray would be utter insanity. 4 firsts. Jesus. How many playoff point guards are there? Not a lot. My prediction for Monte Morris, and I like this one. I give myself a pat on the back for this one. Utah. They need a point guard. They need a point guard. Win costs an arm and a leg. He can just run the offense. Let everybody else do their thing, and he just runs the offense. Terrible slightly? You don't even believe this? How is Monte Morris of the Jazz terrible? Like, this is the one you're dying on? This is the one you're taking exception to? To you, it makes the perfect backup playoff ball handler. Can run an offense, can get to his spot or get guys to his spot, play a little bit of defense, shoot. Like the game is, I need a basket. This guy can run my offense. I feel comfortable with the ball in his hands. Christian Wood, here we go. Christian Wood, lots of rumors lately. Miami Heat, that's been a team. That's been a team that's been linked to him. You know, just kind of thinking about what teams need stretch fours, stretch fives, maybe some scoring off the bench. You know, come off the bench for the Pels. Raptors if they lose Pirtle. Cavs off the bench, sort of that Kevin Love role. Portland. Suns on the minimum, or maybe involved in a sign and trade. Wouldn't hate Wood next to Draymond and Spurs. Yeah, it kind of makes some sense for the Warriors. Ultimately, I predict that he ends up... oh my God, not the Beijing Fly Dragons. Well, all right. Well, there you go. I feel like he'd dominate over there. He's going to be putting up some numbers. Let's talk about him. Paul, $2. Did you see the vid of Jamal saying Brown is re-signing? No, I did not. Tampering. Find them. Some interesting options. Back to Cleveland. There was a report yesterday that there was heightened security outside of LeBron's house in Cleveland. Back to Miami, part 2. Atlanta. Did you guys see that? Dallas. With Kyrie. All right. He's staying with the Lakers. I thought about doing something fun, but it really wasn't even worth my time. La Maverick. Has a ring to it. Derrick Rose. He's an unrestricted free agent. He's on the market. Where is he going to end up? Reunion with Chicago on the table. Don't really know what you can expect out of D Rose at this point. Maybe back to Minnesota. Clayton, welcome to the Slightly Delusional Club. Mavs for jersey sales. Come on, LeBron. Put your Maverick jersey on. Feeling Bucks. Don't know why. Just what I'm feeling in my bones. I think it's definitely possible that the reunion with the Bulls is on the table. But I feel like ultimately he's going to give in to ring chasing. I feel like that's ultimately what he's going to succumb to. George Niang. The minivan. Can you imagine Luka stands, Kyrie stands, and Rose stands on the same team? Jesus. What's more toxic, that or when it was Russ fans, LeBron fans, and Laker fans all teamed up for one disgusting beast? I think you guys are really I think you guys are really Wait, what? Jamal Murray did say like Bruce Brown and his extension, so congrats to him. He could be saying his new contract. We talk about once we win, everybody going to eat, everybody's going to get taken up like Bruce and his extension, so congrats to him. I think it just means like his he's getting paid. Thoughts on Cam Reddish? What about him? Anyways, all these teams could be in need of George Niang. Feel like the Cavs just kind of make some sense. Now remember the Cavs made a big move, man. They got off Donovan Mitchell in my offseason. Niang wouldn't be a good influence on Luka in the kitchen. I know a guy from high school that trains with George Niang. If that matters to any of you. Kyle Lowry. Will he be bought out? That was a rumor. That makes no fucking sense to me. We're replacing Donovan Mitchell with George Niang. I don't see why they would release him or waive and stretch him. Just doesn't make much sense to me. But that was some rumors that were going around. And if he does end up getting bought out or something, and he gets like a minimum deal or a small contract, like, yeah, I think his services will be highly sought after by any team in need of a point guard. But ultimately, I think he stays in Miami. I don't think they'd find a trade partner for him, one, and two, like, releasing him or waiving and stretching him does not make much sense to me. Patrick Beverley. The Photoshop auto remove background feature did not treat Patrick Beverley very well. That looks fucking traumatizing. News to be a player may hold a passive, non-controlling interest in sports betting or fantasy company. I just think that's so wild that players can be in on sports betting. A lot of different options for Pat Bev. Interested to see what his market looks like. Could definitely see him staying with Chicago. I kind of think a reunion with Minnesota is happening. I don't know. I'm reading the tea leaves. Back to Minnesota, where they made one of the greatest achievements in basketball history by winning that play-in game. How can you not return? Fred VanVleet, Freddie All-Star. Well, I already kind of spoiled some of it because I had the Raptors getting Gabe Vincent. I only think they do that if they do lose Fred VanVleet. What's his market going to be? If you're $40 fucking million, that is reportedly what the Rockets are willing to throw at him. $40 million. Any team with a need for a guard should be interested. But at that money, shit's crazy. And the Raptors would be nuts to fucking match that. So I do think if the Rockets are throwing him $40 million a year, he would be stupid to not take it. 2 years, $40 million a year. You can get out of it in 2 years. Hit free agency again. If you're the Rockets, we need a point guard. Like, we need an older guy next to these young dudes. He's won a ring. So, kind of makes some sense there. And, hey, you know, if he plays really well, we could flip him. $40 million is nuts. I would be very against my team doing that. But if you're a team like Houston who has a ton of cap space, like, it kind of makes some sense. This is the type of moves you should probably be making. I've been here the full 2 hours and 30 minutes, and all I've gotten is re-signing K-Debates Diop. Be patient, man. Jonathan Kuminga. Is he still on the markets? Lots of talks about him before the draft. Reports came out after the draft that The Pacers and the Warriors are having some pretty advanced negotiations. Ultimately, though, I think he stays in Golden State. I feel like if he got traded, it would have happened before the draft. They got off of Jordan Poole. They're already kind of branching away from the. They're already kind of branching away from the. He's not 7'3" from the dual timeline or whatever it was they were trying to do that backfired hilariously. Well, I guess I can't say backfired because they did win a ring. Damian Lillard. Are we finally going to get an end to this fucking horrible saga? The Damian Lillard trade saga. Are we finally getting a reprieve from it? Please tell me we are. All of these teams will be interested. Nets and Heat seem to be the most interested, but if the Bucks could pull something off, I don't know what the hell it would look like or if it's even possible. But if it is possible, they should do everything in their effort to do it. Everything in their power to do it, they should. According to the GM, he said that Dame isn't getting moved. Like, come on. Oh, I haven't gone to Miami. I think it happens. I think it ultimately happens. What's my Portland conspiracy? Fuck! I literally can't remember. Must not have been very well thought out. Fuck, what was it? Hair looking luscious? I know. How did I remember? How did I forget that? I actually don't remember. I don't know. It's something with the third pick in Paul George when you said it. Oh. Okay, yeah. My conspiracy with the Portland thing is that their front office is just leaking shit like that to basically say, see, we tried. That's what it was. Their front office is just leaking trade stuff like that just to say that they tried, knowing damn well they're not going to do it. That's what it was. They say, well, we talked to the Clippers about Paul George, knowing deep down they were never doing that shit. Not as crazy as you would think. Honestly, Nico has done enough to where I'm not petrified of the offseason. I'm still a little nervous, but he has shown that he's willing to pull the trigger and is somehow making genius moves. Why would they do that? Just to make it look like they're trying to please Dame. I think that they want to trade him. Like, I just do. I'm reading the tea leaves. All right? This is the second offseason in a row that Dame has openly said, I don't want you guys to draft a player. I don't want you guys to have young teams. I want you guys to build a contender around me. And Portland front office has said, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. And then both times they said, oh, whoops, sorry. We're not doing that shit. Like, we're drafting Shaedon Sharpe and we're drafting Scoot. Sorry. We're not fucking doing it. I think they're trying to give the illusion that they're making moves or they're trying to make moves, but in reality, they're not. And they're just kind of waiting. They're not going to trade Dame without him like really asking for it, but they're just waiting. They're basically calling his bluff and saying, ask for the fucking trade. Can Portland also move Simons too? What's the point of Scoot, Sharpe, and Simons? And Dame. That's what I'm also thinking too. Like, I feel like they would have been very motivated to get off of Simons, especially if they knew they were taking Scoot. They could easily attach Nurk to Dame and start the easiest rebuild ever. Yeah, I know. So Cam Johnson, restricted free agent. Again, if I'm a team with money, yeah, I'd make the Nets uncomfortable with a matching offer. But I did have a crazy ass trade happening and Donovan Mitchell getting traded to the Nets, which means Cam Johnson becomes a Cavalier. What up, chat? What up, Tobias? Vibe so far? What up, Doomer? Pretty good. We're reaching the end. We are reaching the end here. We are approaching the final few players. Joe Ingles, the fuck? Joe Ingles is important enough to be on this list. Jingling Joe. I thought he was going to retire years ago, but apparently he's still around. And to me, he just screams Suns. Like, he just screams Phoenix Suns on the minimum. Sort of a last hoorah. So you have Dallas getting Kyrie re-signed, Bruce Brown signed, and trading for Ayton. Yeah, that's my prediction. PJ Washington, also restricted free agent. Now, I do wonder, you know, will the decision of Miles Bridges have any effect on PJ Washington? That I do wonder. Don't know what, I would pay for PJ Washington. You know, the mid-level for sure, but the Hornets are matching that for sure. I don't know what you'd have to offer for the Hornets to be like, ew, gross, we don't want to do that. It's probably a disgusting number that I wouldn't want any part of. So because of that, I think he's staying with the Charlotte Hornets. Unless there's a trade going on, unless it's a sign and trade scenario. CJ McCollum. We've talked about him before. He was really not good this past season. His contract, and in his defense, right? He was the only healthy guy in the Pelicans, and he pretty much had to do everything for most of the season. So that is in his defense. His contract fucking reeks. Okay, $35 million next season, 33 the year after, 30 the year after that. Is there a pathway to an Ayton for McCollum framework? Brunson's contract is horrible also. Oh, brother. I think CJ stays. But something to keep an eye on. Something to keep an eye on. CJ McCollum. What the fuck has it possible you have so many bad takes, bro? Me? Nah, Sevens has got to be talking to right now. Plum Dog Millionaire. Plum Dog Millionaire. Where is he headed? The GOAT. The only two free agents left on praying San Antonio get, according to you, are Harden and Brook. Stay patient, Fry. Stay patient. Where's Plum Dog going to go? Solid backup center option. You know, starting center in a pinch. I wouldn't love that. Torian Prince is going to be an unrestricted free agent. Staying with the Clippers. I think he stays in LA. But he goes to the Lakers. He's the right shade for Dallas. Jesus Christ. Don't know why I feel the Lakers. But I feel like they want another center alongside AD. They need another big. Mo Bamba sucks winky. It kind of makes some sense for them to go after a center. A big. And Plumlee's a really solid, backup guy who could even, AD's out of game. You feel comfortable starting him. Let's not forget the tear that he was on in Charlotte before getting traded. It was incredible to watch. what Plum Dog Millionaire was doing. Making all of us millionaires. Makes some sense for me. And like, well, the Clippers want to spend a lot of money on a backup center. Like they proved with Isaiah Hartenstein, they did not want to do that. Russell Westbrook, speaking of the Clippers. Woj bomb? Yeah, the Torian Prince. I saw it. Torian Prince is going to have an interesting market. Phoenix Suns. What the fuck is Russ going to do? Predict who's going to be next year's Plum Dog Millionaire? There's only one Plumlee. Like, he's his own type of player. Like, Bill Simmons said on his podcast, he doesn't think Russ is going to be on a team until December. I don't believe that to be true. I think Russ showed with the Clippers that he has some value. And if it's like a vet minimum, like, hello, Phoenix? Any team that needs a point guard, really? Hello? Him going to Utah would be really funny. Definitely think it's the Clippers, though. Wait, can he even go to Utah? He could, right? Luke will make 8 and a 26 and 13 guy. Then we were flipping him for Mikal Bridges. 26 and 13? Jesus Christ. I think he heads back to the Clippers. Makes sense. They still need a point guard. And he was great there at the end of the season. Stay in LA. Just makes sense. Zion. Well, we got to talk about him. I feel like there's a lot of smoke there. Could this be the last run for Zion on the Pelicans if it doesn't work out this year? Lots of possible destinations for him. If you're a young team like San Antonio, Charlotte, Houston, you know, jumpstart your rebuild. If you're a team like Cleveland or New York, Portland even, Dallas, this could be your final sort of move. I feel like if he were to be traded, it would have already happened. So I don't have him being traded. But it's definitely something to monitor over the years. Maybe even over this season. How do you feel about Torian Prince? Yeah, sure. I'd take Torian Prince. For like a minimum. I mean, I'm not like jumping up and down for him. Dennis Smith Jr. A favorite at this channel. Mavericks legend, of course. Thoughts on us setting 8 in stat pad like crazy in 2024 season and trading for a star? Sure. I feel like he's going to actually have a good amount of suitors, I feel like. Great point of attack defender. Good perimeter defender. Shouldn't cost too much money. Any team that needs like a backup guard, it would be in their interest to hit up Dennis Smith Jr. But I think he stays in Charlotte. He's got a connection to Charlotte. He's from there, or he's from North Carolina. Is he from North Carolina or South Carolina? He has the connection to J. Cole. They took a chance on him. North Carolina. They took a chance on him. He's staying. Jay Crowder. Let's just speed run through some of these guys. Jay Crowder. I don't know what you're getting from him at this point in his career. He did not look very good on the Bucks. He's what now? 32? That's it? About to turn 33. I thought he was going to be 36. But anyways, he's older. Was not great for the Bucks. Did not make a single three in that series. Going to Milwaukee or Phoenix. Jay Crowder, he's not going back to Phoenix. I feel like he's going back to Miami. I'm trying to remember. He didn't have like a rough departure from Miami, did he? It's hard to remember with Jay Crowder at this point. Just feels like a Miami guy again. And I don't know what his market's going to be. Like around 5-6 million probably. Yeah, 5 second-round picks for him. I mean, again, the Bucks really aren't in the business of letting guys go, but Monte is gone. That's true. Monty, sorry. Dorian Finney-Smith, our guy, Dodo. Now in our scenario, Donovan Mitchell is now a member of the Brooklyn Nets. Is Dorian involved in that trade? Is Dorian getting rerouted somewhere else? All of these teams would love him. I think he stays in Brooklyn. Just think he stays in Brooklyn. I don't know if they get what they want in return for him. Klay Thompson. What would Klay Thompson's trade market look like? If you're Memphis, yeah, I think you're making a call. If you're Atlanta, does that interest you at all? A shooter next to Trey? Portland, because you're desperate. Minnesota, you get a shooter next to... Yeah, I saw the Torian Prince news. You see a shooter next to Ant. Fryer, are you still in here? Stay patient. Rockets? Why did I put the Rockets here? Why would he go there? Money. I don't think Klay's retiring on the Warriors. Or he might retire on the Warriors, but I don't think he's going to spend his whole career there. That's just kind of what I'm feeling. Steph and Draymond? Yes. Klay? I just don't know. It doesn't make much sense. No way I would pay him that. Like, no way I would pay him a ton of money. I don't think Bane for Klay. Klay would be a max player with Luka? Not at this stage. I think he stays, but it's something to keep an eye on. Jakob Poeltl, he's also on the market. Zach Lowe was like, where the fuck is Jakob Poeltl's buzz? And I do agree. One other thing I have to say. Zach Lowe, why are you hating on the Mavericks so much? It's not cool. It's not trendy anymore. Okay, move on. A San Antonio reunion is definitely not off the table for Poeltl. Dallas is an option. If Poeltl's a mid-level guy, things change dramatically, but he's not going to be a mid-level, especially if Vucevic just got $20 million. He hates on them because they invented tanking? I guess so. I mean, they hate on him because of They hate on him because of Kyrie. Like, that's why the Mavericks have drawn the ire of national media people all over the world. The Kyrie trade. I think Jakob stays in Toronto. Again, I think they're just running it back, which, okay. They just traded a first-round pick for him, so. They just traded a first-round pick for him, so I think they're going to want to keep him. But there was some interesting stuff. Klay bringing his yacht to Grapevine Lake. Toronto drafted him, too. I don't think they'd be embarrass themselves by letting him go a third time. Yeah, that's also true. DeMar DeRozan. I would trade DeMar DeRozan this offseason. That would be my goal as a Bulls front office. Let's leave the offseason with some value in return for DeMar DeRozan. What teams would be interested in him? Sacramento, maybe? The Heat? Cleveland? To play the 3? But then you'd have DeMar, assuming they don't make a huge trade. DeMar, Darius Garland, and Donovan Mitchell as your big 3 like defenders, your like perimeter guys. I don't love that. Memphis, I can see. Going back to LA with the Lakers. I think he stays in Chicago, but they're in such a weird spot, man. I don't know what the fuck they do. I don't know what the hell they do. James Harden. Wow. I didn't realize I had James Harden this late. Like, probably the biggest free agent this offseason. It's between Houston or Philly. I don't see any other player, any other candidate. And I do think he stays ultimately. If you would have asked me this a few weeks ago, I'd have said Houston, because that's where all the signs were pointing. So I do wonder if maybe there's still some juice there, but it does seem like he's going to stay in Philly. And could this be one last ride for James Harden and the Embiid, just the Embiid era in general? He disappears in the playoffs? Oh, yeah, he does. We only have a few more players left. Rui Hachimura, restricted free agent. What's his... Like, if you give him $20 million a year, you are fucked. But who knows? Maybe a team like the Spurs or the Rockets who have money are just like, fuck it. Hey, Lakers, match this. If you need a forward, Rui could be on your radar. But again, I don't know how much money you're going to have to pay him for the Lakers to let him go. So ultimately, I do think he stays with the Lakers. Just can't imagine the price you'd have to pay for the Lakers to not match. It's probably disgusting. He's a decent defender. Darius Garland, I included him. I included him. Just because of the rumors that came out today, I had no plan on it. The entire NBA should be interested by Darius Garland if he were available. It does not matter the direction your team is headed in. He's staying in Cleveland now. Let's not... I hope so, at least. I really don't know what they would fucking do. Mavs? Why would the Mavs want Darius Garland? Mikal Bridges, if he were made available, the entire NBA should be checking in on him as well. Who the hell are these guys? I think he stays with the Nets, which means in my mock offseason, the Nets swing Donovan Mitchell without having to give up Mikal Bridges, which would be quite the heist. Goran Dragic. Some Goran love. We can't forget about my guy Goran. Is this the year Goran Dragic finally makes his way to the Mavericks? 37 years of age. Just not really somebody you can count on anymore at really any capacity. How about Phoenix Part 3 on the minimum? How about Phoenix Part 3 on the minimum for Goran? Mavericks fans shit themselves again. Heat trading Lowry, not waiving? Yeah, probably. He was the Nets' 4th best player versus Boston in 2022. That's true. He was pretty good in that postseason series. Spencer Dinwiddie. Could he be on the market? Well, I have him getting traded to the Cavs in that Donovan Mitchell trade just to make salary work. I'm powering through this. I'm so hungry. Here we go. Brook Lopez. What's his market going to look like? Milwaukee? You know? Are they going to be able to afford him? What if a team with money comes knocking on that door? There's reports that you could get him for the mid-level. That's insane to me. All it would take is one team with money to up that ante a little bit and things get spooky. No way the Suns. Just no way. I don't even know why I put them on here. Just no way. Here you go, Fry. I have him going to the Spurs. It makes a ton of sense. This is a great player to throw money at if you're the Spurs. An older guy. Wemby does not have to play the 5. Wemby and Brook Lopez front court defensively is pretty fucking gross. What about Conchar? I didn't have him on here. Wemby and Brook is scary defensively to play against. Yeah, that would be a great front court. Yeah, I'm going to watch Summer League for sure. I'll watch the first couple days, but once a team starts shutting guys down, I'm out. Brook might actually be my highest fit for this year free agency for San Antonio. It just makes sense. I could see both sides being interested in it. Brook's playstyle wouldn't even need to change. Just continue playing like Giannis is there. Yeah. And maybe the Bucks get scared off by like a $20 million a year offer or something like that. Very possible. And there you go. Those are all my predictions. All right. We did it. I want to get at least some of these right. I want to get some of the like non-obvious ones. I want to get some of the non-obvious ones right. Some of the out there ones. I just want to get one right. We'll look back on this in a month or so. Which ones are you somewhat positive on? Kyrie. I mean, like the players staying, I'm pretty positive about a lot of those. Which like change of scenery am I pretty positive on? Kuzma. If I had to guess, Kuzma makes a lot of sense. Could I get like one of my crazy trades right? Oh, DiVincenzo to the Knicks actually is the one I would for sure bet on. What's the one you want to get right the most? Spot it? Yeah, for sure. I would literally... The amount of patting myself on the back I would do if that shit happened. Poole's already got traded. Which do you want to get the wrong the most? I wouldn't say I want to get Ayton wrong the most. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Do any of these trades, like maybe the Dame one, just because that Heat team would be fucking disgustingly good. Where do you see Wes Iwundu going? Turkey. Poole greatly benefit from a change of scenery. Oh yeah, for sure. How'd you do PowerPoint with no word art? Well, it's Google Slides. Their word art is lacking. Like this is what we got for word art. All right. Brook Lopez to San Antonio is happening. I could see it. What about the biggest free agent this offseason? O'Shea Brissett. Hey, he's going to make a team better. Okay, Friday, I'm releasing a video tomorrow. I don't know what yet, but just stay tuned. Be ready to gas it up. I'm not sure what yet. What time does free agency start? 6 p.m. So I'll be live about 4. We'll go live about an hour before, and we'll be live for who knows how long. So I'll be live 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 p.m. Pacific. Figure out all the rest. 4 p.m. Central Standard Time is when I'll be going live on Friday. So just like 3 hours later than I usually do. Do we see Ayton traded pre-free agency if he's traded to Dallas? That's a good question. I don't know. But whew, I can't wait, even though I feel like it's honestly going to be a little boring. I do feel like it might be a little bit boring. If things get really dragged out, I feel like that means Dame's getting traded. I don't know why, but I feel like that just means that the league is just waiting on the big domino. Does that even make sense? All right, well, thank you guys for sitting through my very long PowerPoint today. I can't wait to look back on these. I cannot wait to look back on these in a few months, few weeks, few months, just to see how many we got right, how many we got wrong. But we're getting close to, it's gonna be like a busy week. But after that, like, it's damn near vacation time. It's been a hectic past couple weeks. I said I'm going all in for the fucking draft. I'm going all in for free agency, and it's been hectic to say the least. I know. Getting very close to 10,000. We're about to hit 9,500. So 500 away. At the pace we've been going lately, that's only a few weeks away. If that. But of course, there's been so much going on in the NBA though. But we shall see. I am going out of town this weekend, but I plan on still dropping videos. I want to see how many days in a row I can go dropping something, because it's been like 2 or 3 weeks. All in World Cup. I'll definitely watch it. I don't know if I'll cover it. One, because FIBA's really weird with their FIBA's really weird with their copyright stuff. Anyways, guys, thank you guys very much for coming out today. It was a very fun stream. All of the OGs, thank you guys very much. Could have spent your Wednesday afternoon anywhere in the world. You decided to spend it here. New subscribers, I promise you guys will not regret it. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we stream 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Friday, we're streaming at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time because of free agency. Regular content on the channels. Members, donations. Thank you guys so much. You never have to do that, but it helps me out tremendously. It makes me feel so good. Love you guys. Talk to you guys later. Video tomorrow. Free agent stream on Friday. Let's get it.